Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Couch Coaches podcast, where we talk about everything going on in the world of sports, and we are football heavy. Gonna dive into last night's game. Not so much the game as opposed to the teams involved in the game. First question, Dick and Greg, I'm going to start with you. Should the Chiefs be worried?
Should the Chiefs be worried? If they have Super Bowl aspirations, I would think they should be worried. They just have way too many drops, with the receivers. They should be worried. They're gonna get probably they might be the team to come out of the AFC, maybe, and that's a maybe. But yeah, they got too many problems on there with their receivers dropping the ball way too much, and the running game is it's not where it needs to be. The defense is solid though; they're playing some good defense. But yeah, I would be worried with, and I don't know how you fix that. How do you fix? If you can, either you can catch or you can't. So I don't know how they're like. Oh, they need to work on that. I don't know. I was listening to First Take this morning, and Shannon Sharpe, he made a great point, which I didn't really realize that. But he's talking about that guy, was it Schuster or something, the one that broke free for the could have got the game-winning touchdown. And he was saying that he is a body catcher. And I was watching it as he threw the ball over his shoulder. The first thing he tried to do was bring it in. Yeah, he's catching over the shoulder catch, but he's trying to bring the ball in. If he would have just caught the ball with his hands, left him out there, he probably would have kept the ball, probably would have stayed out there. But yeah, so things like that, if that's the type of style of catching you are, you're not going to fix that. So yeah, I would be more worried about their too many drop balls. Even Kelsey's dropping balls, just uncharacteristic. Where's Tyreek Hill when you need him? So I would be worried about that. That's something I don't think they can fix. And they got the Raiders coming to town, so actually they're coming to Vegas. So yeah, they should be really worried.
Really, really worried. I'm sure. Very scared. Brother Bill.
Yeah, I would say, just to piggyback on what Brother Greg said, yeah, they should be worried about going to Vegas because they need to stay away from all the casinos and everything the night before and just focus on the game. If they do that, then they'll be fine. They shouldn't be, I wouldn't say worried, but they should be concerned because this late in the second half of the schedule, if you look at the season, look at their schedule, they don't have any games to give away. Their margin of error, because they're now competing with both Miami and the Ravens for home field. And I always look at which team needs home field the most in order to try to get to the Super Bowl in each conference. I don't know that Miami can win on the road. I believe the Ravens can, but they just lost their tight end. Hopefully they get him back. But to answer your question about the Chiefs, I would say concerned, but not worried.
Yeah. To me, I mean, like the drops are obviously a huge issue, but and again, like I don't know how you fix catching the ball where you didn't catch it before when the weather gets worse and everything. But like if they fix that issue, they're fine. But to me, the AFC, and I listen to the Herd every day, and he's always talking about how the AFC is so great. I don't think the AFC is very good, especially when you take Burrow out. I think Miami, for being in a hunt for home field, Miami is not a good team. They could have easily lost to the Raiders. The Raiders are not. I don't really know what the Raiders are with this new coaching staff, so they could be. Maybe they're just playing better. I mean, they're obviously playing better than we've seen, but maybe they're a better team than we thought they were. Or maybe Miami's just not very good because they seem to not do great really against anybody anymore. I mean, they were cool at the beginning of the year, but Baltimore to me like should be a good team, but I'm not so sure that if you know how to handle Lamar, they're a very good team because they seem to be really, really good when you haven't played them. And then when you play them again, the teams either beat them or it's a much better game, regardless of the talent of the team. And I don't see anybody really knocking the Chiefs off. And really until the Chiefs do get knocked out of the playoffs, it's hard to say you should be worried just because they've kind of made it work no matter what. But the wide receiver thing it's pretty ugly, man. When the dude is just he's like in the end zone, like the Herbert drop in Green Bay was bad because the guy could have run to the end zone and he could have had a touchdown. This dude was like, he caught the ball, he's in the it's over with, and that's brutal.
That's why I said if they got Super Bowl aspirations, they should be worried. I mean, they could probably get through the AFC, like you said. There's no dominant team, and I think, matter of fact, they might be the top team in the AFC. But just like last night, they ain't gonna. They just lost last night to the Eagles, so I don't see them. And the Eagles didn't play a great game. I mean, so yeah, I would be worried if they think they're gonna defend their championship.
They got Mahomes. I'll always give a team an edge when they have one player that is clearly, I don't say head and shoulders, but he's the difference maker. I mean, there's just no other way to say it, and he's proven that. Now,
Bill, he was a difference maker last night. He threw a dime. He can't catch
that's
the
my
ball.
point. But do you really expect? I mean, let that same situation happen again in the big game, where he's got to where if he has to make a play. Now, granted, it was raining. All I'm saying is he's proved it in 2 Super Bowls that when everything is close, he can win the game, and that's all I'm saying.
Well, you're saying Mahomes. We know Mahomes could do what he does, but just like Shannon Sharp said earlier today, also those players like that, they can make those catches in the first quarter. But just like you said, when the pressure is on in the Super Bowl, and when the chips are on the line, that's when it's even harder to make that catch. So yeah, I would be worried about that.
We'll find out when they play the Niners again in the Super Bowl.
Oh,
but there's also no wide receiver to go pick up. I mean, like it's not like there's any like free agent out there where you're like, okay, we'll get him and it'll be okay. There's like I mean, like anybody you bring up is it's unreasonable. Somebody threw out what's his name? God, somebody threw out Deshaun.
Sean Jackson?
Yes.
Isn't he? I mean, he's been
150
years
in the
old
league
anymore.
No,
I mean,
he's not. He's hanging out at home.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
They missed their opportunity to do something. They missed their opportunity to address the wide receiver issue. So
Yeah,
we're gonna have to go with what they got.
Yeah.
That's it.
So Deacon Hill, you brought up a good point about the Philadelphia not playing great and still winning the game, which leads in perfectly into the next subject. So let me just kind of like set it up like this. So the Eagles on paper, I think, are the best team in the league. If not, they're 2 to the Niners. They keep saying, oh, they know how to win ugly. That they don't play their best game, but they're still able to win. Well, we're more than halfway through the season, and they haven't played like an A game anywhere. Like every game they're winning, they're not like blowing people. I mean, they were killing teams last year. I mean, blowing them out of the way. It was like Alabama football like 3 years ago, just blowing them out in the first half, and then they just run the ball in the second half. And there has to be something with the coaching staff, because every game seems to be a close game where they could have easily lost the Dallas game. They just happen to be playing a team like Dallas with a quarterback and a coach like Dallas, and they could have easily lost last night, but nobody can catch on the Chiefs. So and it's not that it's not on paper they're insane. When their draft at the this season, I was like, how could they get any better? And they got better, which is disgusting for me because I know we're gonna have to play them. But are the Eagles a great team like they were last year? Brother Bill, I'll start with you.
To compare last year to this year, there's so many things that are different. I would say the Eagles are their record. They've only lost one game, whether they lose by a point or by 10.
To the Jets.
I mean, they're winning close games, right? Now, but you look at what did Kansas City do? They had the right formula to beat them. What beat Kansas City was they turned over the ball twice in the red zone. So I think for the teams that the Eagles are going to play, I look at, is the Eagles offense going to be better than any defense they play? I don't know. I mean, because they haven't. If they play when they play the Niners, that'll be a good litmus test in terms of how they match up against the defense. We know what Philly's defense is, and that's why I think they have the advantage over most of the other teams' offenses, is the strength of their defensive line. I mean, they're 9-1. To say, are they the best team right now? Well, they have the best record. And to me, I would focus more on what record the team has rather than the best. Because on any given Sunday, even the best team can get beat. So I just look at it as, let the season continue to play out. And when they start playing the teams that are playoff bound, like the 49ers and some other teams, then you'll see, how good they are.
Yeah. See, and I think that question is, will their offense beat the defenses they play? They should. I mean, and that's from somebody who's worried about that team, obviously more than any other team in the NFC. That's my question: is they should dominate because they have dominating players, but they're not, which I don't want them to get it together because we're going to play them twice probably this season. But they should. Their offense should.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just saying, just their offense. If you're ever like that's what I'm saying. On paper, they're insane. On paper, their offense should beat every defense and have a tough time against like a Niners defense or something like that.
Chop them up and play.
Right. Yeah. I know. Deacon Greg.
Well, that's why I see it different, because it doesn't matter. They don't have to look dominant. Like you said, they have to win. That's all that matters. They were trailing by, it was 17-10, 17-7. They were down by 10 points. And they made the plays that they had to make to come back. You saying that the Chiefs should have done this, done that. When they were up by 10 points, they came back and got them. So I don't look at it as though their offense is not dominant. No, they're making the plays that they need to make when they need to make it to win the game, and that's all you need to do. And so I think they're fine. I think the Eagles are fine. They, and like even Jalen Hurts was saying, these type of games like this, they actually build character. Anybody can win. The front runner can run away like last year. It's easy to run away when you're on top and blowing people out, and then when it gets close, see what happens. But when you're grinding them out like this, that just getting you ready. You are never out of it. When you can win grind out games, you're never out of it. So your team is never going to be out of it. They're going to always feel like they got a chance to win. So I'm perfectly happy and satisfied with the way they're playing, because I don't think that they're going to be ever just say, hey, well, we're done. Unless if they're getting blown out. Now, if your Niners come and put up 20 points, get a 20-point lead on them, I don't think that offense will come back from that. But if they could just stick around, hang around, and make it a dogfight, they'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah. Loss in last night's game was the fact that they shut out the Chiefs in the second half.
But the Chiefs have been shut out in the second half the last 3 games in a row.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So that's the trend that's concerning to me is what's happening to Kansas City's second half scoring.
Yeah.
That we missed that point. That is a big point also. But just like you're saying though, but they had a 10-point lead, and they were they gave that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Deacon Hill, I 100% agree with you. Like, being able to grind out a win is huge, especially as you get closer to the playoffs. I mean, that's kind of was the Niners' bread and butter up to this year, where we're going way up on teams, and now I don't know if we can grind out a win. But it was definitely beneficial because if you're down 7 or you're down 10 and it's in the fourth quarter, you just do what you've done all season. It just seems weird that they're not like gelling, because just last year they were so good.
They changed their offensive coordinator though. See, yeah. So that's a lot of that makes a big difference in and then all them points that they were scoring and how lighting up the scoreboard and stuff.
Yeah. So this next subject, I think it'll go pretty quick because I don't think anybody really has an answer. How in the world does Brandon Staley still have a job? If I'm not even a Chargers fan and I'm pissed that he still has a job. What does the owner look at when all the quarterbacks you play, whether they're really good or mediocre or maybe not even like a starting quarterback in the NFL, everybody has their best game of the season on offense against your defense when you're a defensive coach? Deacon Hill, make it make sense, please.
Well, like you said, it doesn't make sense, but I think right now, like you just said earlier, we talked about earlier, what are you going to get? Maybe they don't have no confidence in their staff to bring in an interim coach off their staff or whatever. So, and I was reading what Iron Rappaport, whatever his name is, was saying. He tried to make a point that his defense, it wasn't the defense's fault. The defense is playing well and all that, but the defense ranks like 31st in points allowed or whatever, something like that. So yeah, it is a defense. It's the head coach's fault. But I was looking, a couple of years ago, he was supposed to be this boy genius. He's only 40 years old. So I think the owner is still looking back a couple of years back, how they were, playing well, and he was supposed to be so on the cutting edge of everything or whatever. And yeah, so they're gonna. He's not going nowhere this year. That's that. He might go if they keep playing the way they're playing. He won't be around next year, but yeah, this year he's gonna be there.
But he's been this bad the whole time he's been there. Their defense has sucked the whole time.
Yeah, but they were winning games. They they had high expectations, so but yeah, he's not going nowhere this year, but yeah.
Brother Bill, any
yeah, the word on the street is both he and the GM are going to be gone off season. And it could be that the owner, to Deacon Greg's point, is just waiting to see, if he doesn't believe that getting rid of them is going to really make the team any better or make them get them in playoff race, why bother? See what happens the offseason, see what other head coaching opportunities there are for other teams, because excuse me, there's always going to be head coaches available. Every year there's pink slips that go out, so maybe the owner's just biding his time and wait until the offseason.
Yeah, see, and I looked at Kellen Moore was a potential head coach candidate, off season, and I would just see. You can try Kellen Moore out for nothing for like the next few games and just see if it does anything to rally the team. They can't, whatever their prep is, you can't go out and play like that and get worked like that on defense, and the players not. The locker room there has to be issues in the locker room, and now Bosa's out, and it drives me insane because every game I go, okay, this is it. He's like Green Bay. There's no way Love can look amazing against you and you keep your job, and here we are. And I don't even like the Chargers. I don't really care. It's just frustrating to see a good team, which is bad that they're talking about getting rid of the GM unless they have an idea of a head coach and a GM that they're going to bring in at the same time. And Harbaugh's name, of course, is getting floated for every potential opening coming up, and we'll see.
Being in the AFC West, I love it. I love what's happening to the Chargers. So.
Keep them forever.
He just doesn't want his Raiders to be at the bottom of the division, and that's all.
Raiders are in the hunt.
Anything at the bottom of the division is a victory.
Yeah. Now that the Broncos are all of a sudden, hey, the Broncos are a real team now. What?
Yeah.
I guess we have to go back and erase all the stuff we said about, or this stuff, at least the stuff I said about Sean. Well, talking about, oh no, never mind. We're skipping ahead. Do you want to talk about the Raiders' loss first or the Niners' path to the Super Bowl? What do we want to do? Deacon Hill,
let's not get into fantasy land. So let's just talk about the Raiders.
All right, let's talk Raiders Dolphins. Raiders played. I can't tell if the Raiders are good or the Dolphins are bad. So, your perspective is, I'm going to go with that.
The Raiders are good, okay? Because you got the Dolphins coming off of a bye week,
right,
playing at home, and the Raiders came in. Like I said, they were supposed to have been a matter of fact, they went up to I think 13 or 14 point underdog, and they came in there and they played well. I mean, the Raiders hung around. I think I got to give my rookie quarterback a break, but if they were a quarterback away from winning that game. If he could have just made a couple more plays, they could have won that game. But I think the Raiders are coming together as a team. This is a team effort, and yeah. So I'm going to give my rookie quarterback, a pass. He gets a pass. He gets another pass. And matter of fact, he's going to get a pass all season because we're definitely not bringing back Jimmy G or Hoyer back. So we're going to be going with that rookie the whole year. But it's a good evaluation to see where he's at, see if we really need to get a quarterback. So he's auditioning for his career with the Raiders.
Just real quick, what are your thoughts if Harbaugh goes to you guys?
I don't like Harbaugh. Okay, I don't want Harbaugh.
All right. I'm just asking because of course the Raiders have an opening, and of course Harbaugh's name. Oh, maybe
they don't have an opening. They have a coach already. Okay, we got a guy. He's
interim. He's the interim coach.
He's in auditioning, so we don't have an opening right now. We'll see. But no, I don't. Why did the Niners run Harbaugh out of town? Can you guys answer me that?
He's a pain in the butt.
Because Jed York didn't have the sense enough to get rid of Balky. That's why.
Oh no.
Harbaugh was the problem. When you go to 3 straight NFC Championship games,
Harbaugh wears his welcome out. He wants to be.
I'm sure he does. Yeah, he seems
When you're
he seems
winning,
like a lot,
He does. Yeah. That's his problem.
winning cures all ills. That's what John Madden used to say, right?
which is also true. Which is also when he went 500, he was gone like the next year. That's kind of that fits that perfectly. Brother Bill, did you check out the Raiders Dolphins game?
I did, and I thought that they had the perfect formula in terms of play calling to win the game. But what I thought was odd though was that they got away from their running game. They only ran the ball 16 times, and I felt the Raiders, and I felt like they needed to run more. It isn't always about getting a bunch of yards, but it's about what you can do in terms of trying to keep control of the game. And I felt like they went away from that and they became more pass heavy than I felt that they should have had to in the game.
And then that also puts way more pressure.
They had to go. They had to go away from the run. That run game was not productive at all. You can't keep putting your rookie quarterback in 3rd and longs. You can't run on 1st down and get nothing. 2nd down and get 2 yards. Now you got 3rd and 8. They have you at a certain point. You have to go away from that. They tried to run the ball. I don't know what's going on with the running game, but that running game was not happening at all.
The issue though is they kept running on 1st down. You don't always have to run on 1st down. They became predictable, not one-dimensional, but they became predictable. Where because Miami was having 6, 7 guys at the line, Raiders only getting 2 yards. So then 2nd and 3rd down became passing downs.
They were daring our rookie quarterback to beat him. That was a game plan. They would rather die, with him than to let Jacobs run the ball. So that's why they stacked the line like that.
When he finally hit what's his name, you receiver on the touchdown to take that brief lead, I thought, okay, maybe they
Devontae?
Who?
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams? Yeah, I thought, okay, maybe they found something. Because that was a perfect play call against that defense. So I will say this though. I think they're trending in the right direction. The Raiders, they're definitely trending in the right direction.
For sure. All right, so now on to your next head coach, Harbaugh, Michigan, OSU this weekend.
Not Ohio State. Not LSU.
Oh, OSU.
Yes.
OSU. Brother Bill, thoughts on Michigan, Ohio State with no Harbaugh in the stadium?
Even with Harbaugh, I just believe that Ohio State matches up better. Even though Michigan just rolled them last year, I think that if you look at Michigan's offense, and they are a grind out offense, and Ohio State is explosive offensively, and they got to figure out what to do with Marvin Harrison, the junior, because if he gets off, it could be over early. If I was a betting man, I would pick Ohio State to win the game, but I expect it to be a dogfight. I mean, it could go either way.
Being Greg.
Yeah, I agree with Bill, Brother Bill, on that. Even the game is in Michigan, so you got to give Michigan a little bit of a edge on that. But just like you said, the offense, Michigan's been a grind out offense and then Harbaugh is not there on the sideline. So, I would think Ohio State could go in there and take care of business in the big house.
Yeah, see, I think Michigan's going to get them again, but I think they're going to they could potentially end up playing again in the football playoff, which would have been Ohio State looked so good last year in the college football playoff after getting grinded out against Michigan. If I'm listening to I guess if I believe all the pundits and stuff, it's like this is the best Michigan team ever, and they lean on you. So it's just so talent wise, they have more talent, and there is something weird with Ryan Day when he plays Michigan. It's like he's this big explosive. I mean, they were all over the place against was it Georgia last year in the playoffs? Like they pushed Georgia to the limit. And they didn't look good against Michigan. So I think there's something in his head with Michigan. Like I can't lose to Michigan, so I got to play it safe. Or there's something there that I think messes up his coaching because he coaches different against them than he does against anybody else. And I don't know if that's because it's in his head or if that's because whatever Michigan does, it affects how he's able to coach them.
Yeah, I think it's the latter. They say styles make fights, and Michigan has a style of football that teams have to be ready for, and they match up well against a team like Ohio State. Now, the other thing that I think is going to be interesting is if Michigan loses, whether or not they get knocked out of the top 4. I was watching this morning First Take, and they said of the 4 teams, and this was assuming Florida State was still number 4, which of the 4 teams can not afford one loss and have the biggest chance of getting bounced with one loss. And the belief was that even Ohio State with one loss would be okay. Georgia with one loss would be okay. Florida State, they wouldn't believe it would probably be out. And there was a question about Michigan. So now I think Michigan has more to lose this game than Ohio State does.
Yes, and I feel like the committee has it set up because it's 2 and 3. It's 2 versus 3. So I feel like whoever wins, as long as it's not a blowout, I feel like whoever wins is gonna get that 4 spot, because Florida State with the quarterback out. I mean, they've already, and this is something we were going to talk about, so we can just kind of work it into this. Florida State doesn't lose, but then loses their quarterback, and they're kind of out of, they're out of the top 5. I don't see them getting back in, even if they win, just because I think people know without the number 1 quarterback, putting them in that scenario it's not going to be great for, I guess, the product.
Correct.
UW, it looks like UW is going to be playing Oregon again. So is Oregon going to beat UW?
Yes.
Probably, yeah, probably. I mean, they kind of should have won last time, and that was in Washington, right?
Right.
So yeah, I feel like Oregon will beat them, but then Oregon's what, number 6 right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they're just kind of setting it up to where Michigan will be 4, Ohio State will be 2, and then somebody will make a jump or do something, or somebody will squeeze into 4, and it'll keep them there, and then they'll end up playing again in the playoffs, which is, for TV ratings, is huge. Play again like 2 weeks later or a month later.
Don't sleep on Alabama though, because if Alabama beats Georgia in the championship game, they could slip in there. I'm telling you,
that would be a shock. With that quarterback, that would be a shock if they did that.
What? Say that one more time.
With Alabama's quarterback,
Have you been watching him play? He's finally got it together.
Yeah, but that ain't gonna happen.
Against who?
What ain't gonna happen?
But against
What's
who?
not gonna happen?
Alabama doesn't beat Georgia. No.
Okay. That's why they play the game, Bill.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Let's. We'll play this back after the game.
Play
Alabama
it back.
doesn't lose to Georgia. Where's the game? You're talking about in the SEC championship game, right?
That's the only time. Yeah, that's when they're gonna meet.
That would be it at the Georgia Dome.
I don't care where it's at. It could be in their backyard.
Georgia's Dome is really the only reasonable place to have the SEC championship game.
All right. Okay.
So Bama would jump. I still would keep Michigan there. I think it's going to be it'll be Bama or Oregon is going to be that 4th spot, and I think Ohio State, Michigan is going to stay 2-3 by the end of everything, because it's too. Sorry,
go ahead.
I was kind of just rambling. So
no, did we forget? I know we talked about the Raiders, but did we forget about the Niners?
Yeah.
We did, but we're so good. It's like we're so.
I mean, or you know what? That's okay. We can save the best for last. I'm okay either way.
It's a wrap. It's 7:30. It's over.
I'm flexible. We can save that. We can save the dessert as the best meal of.
No, bring this topic. Bring this topic.
I think really all you have to say is Brock Purdy had the first perfect quarterback rating for the Niners since 1989 with a Mr. Joe Montana,
and he set the record for the most attempts and completions with the perfect record, because you can go 10 for 11 in 3 touchdowns and have a perfect rating, but he had the most attempts and receptions with a perfect passer rating.
Didn't I tell you? I think I texted you guys the other day that ratings are overrated. What the heck is that about? If I dink and dunk you a little pass to the side,
whoa!
But he didn't dink and dunk.
He did not.
He didn't see the game, so that's okay. He didn't watch. He didn't watch those 20+ yard throws he was making downfield,
or the 76-yard pass to Ayuk.
He didn't see that one. 45 yards in the air. That's not dinking and dunking, bro. Come on. You gotta stop taking that haterade after your dinner every night. It's not good for you.
All right. Seriously though, okay, you got your perfect rating, you did all of that, but Joe's heading was what was give us a topic. What was your topic there? The
topic was Niners are Super Bowl champs. That was the topic. It was the Niners are Super Bowl champs, and the Raiders had a moral victory. That was the title for this.
That's why I'm like I was telling my wife. I said I'm gonna tell her. I'm gonna be like Stephen A. It ain't the Niners that I don't like. It's the fans I can't stand. Look at he done jumped all the way to the Super Bowl. You want?
I'm past the Super Bowl. I'm
Yeah,
past
he's
the Super
back.
Bowl.
He's to the
I'm at the
parade.
parade.
He's back next year. You
I
guys
got,
already.
I got my ring size going. We're ready to go.
Look, see, that's what gets me, Bill, right there. You know what? And he done surpassed you, Bill. You used to be my number one nemesis. Now he has surpassed you.
All I'm gonna say is take care of Seattle. I'm just looking to Thursday night.
No
You
problem.
better look.
Geno Smith.
Okay, yeah, go. All right, there you go. I can deal with that. See, but this guy right here, he's already or the Niners going to the Super Bowl or whatever.
He just does that to get your goat, man. You can't let that get your goat every week.
Or do I think we're going to the Super Bowl?
Look,
well, I'll tell you what.
Fan base is like that. You guys are like I told you, it's like a roller coaster. When you lost the 3 games, you guys are all in the dumps. You can't even.
Because we're
games.
We're too good.
Because we're not used to that. I mean, that's foreign. The 3-game losing streak is foreign to us. That's why.
I forgot what an L was.
What, this isn't us. Like that series, This Is Us, that wasn't us. So we didn't know what to do.
This is not us.
Look, now you don't want to fire your coach. Before I was like, fire the coach. You got to get him out of here. I haven't heard that lately.
As long as he don't get our quarterback killed, he'll be all right.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't
die.
I
will say this, though. Our defense took a major hit losing Hufanga because he was the captain of our secondary.
Yeah,
that's a big concern for me because our secondary was already, to me, the most vulnerable part of our defense.
And he was the not vulnerable part. He was like the part that was like, we got this, we got the middle of the field. Okay, it's the side.
Yep. Between him and Mooney Ward, I was like, okay, we got those 2 positions covered. But we'll find out whether or not this rookie, I mean, it'll be up to the defensive coordinator not to stay in cover 2. I just want us to stay in cover 2.
Yeah, no more man.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to the Eagle game. That's I got it circled. Where's my calendar? Oh yeah, right there.
Yeah, I will say so. We have to beat them for home because we want home field advantage. But I will say, playoff wise, I actually like losing to the team that we're going to play in the playoffs, so we can make the adjustments easier than they can. But we need the home field advantage before. So
go in there and win and win the game. And I think because, I mean, they always say, playoffs is another season. And what happens regular season, there's no guarantee. I mean, things just change when it's in a single elimination game, 60 minutes in, you go home. There's more intensity. But I think in terms of just matchup, and you want to see what you are against the best teams, right? So they have the 7-3 record. Eagles are 2 games ahead of them. Take care of business against Seattle. And then when you go into the hostile environment, see, are we good enough to beat a team like this that we probably might see again in the playoffs? That's what it comes down to.
Yes, we are.
May I answer that question for you?
Yes. And we should have won last year, but our quarterback got hurt.
All of our quarterbacks got hurt. So we don't know. So we're gonna find out this time around.
We'll find out. But yeah, you want to, Joe, your thoughts about losing to a team? No, you want to beat a team. I don't care. Anytime you play them, you want to beat them. So no, you don't want to lose to them and then I'll figure it out. No, because a team that beats you, believe me, the next time they play you, they got more confidence. They're coming in with confidence because they've beaten you already.
Not with our dudes. Our dudes are too nasty. They're too. Got Debo coming out of the tunnel with the boombox. How are you gonna beat that? How are you gonna beat Debo coming out of the tunnel with the boombox?
We can't afford to lose any more guys. Like I said, I mean, it was good to have Debo back and Trent Williams, and then with Huff going down, it's like, okay, here we go. So,
maybe Huff. We can send Huff to Aaron Rodgers' doctor, and he'll be back in 2 weeks.
Hey, how did Bosa? Bosa don't look like he didn't look like he did too good last week. I was watching him.
He has the most pressures. He got QB pressures. He just doesn't have sacks.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It isn't always about sacks. And sacks look good because it's sexy and the stat that stands out. But they're able to. And again, that was Baker Mayfield. So let's see again. Can they get pressure in that push with just their front line? That's the key to their defense, because then they can play coverage with their linebackers and they don't expose their secondary. So we're gonna see.
Yeah.
It's not the Niner team, it's the fans that I can't stand.
That's okay. That's okay, man. We'll have one of these for you whenever you want it after the season's over.
You look good in red.
Bill, I was thinking about it. I'm gonna get you a new flag, that one that chasing 6 with the 1990 date on it. I'm gonna get you.
95.
I'm gonna upgrade you.
It's called Quest for 6.
Quest for 6, whatever it's called, with the date 1990 something. I'm gonna get you a new one. I'm just gonna have the Quest for 6. We won't have to put no date on it, okay?
Okay.
You'll be all right.
Well, the next one's gonna be going for 7, so that's okay.
But
Give me one of those when it comes out.
You can buy that in March.
Exactly. Those will be on sale in March. That's right.
Okay. Yeah, right. Okay.
All right, guys. We will see you next week. Everybody have a very happy and safe and healthy
Yep,
Thanksgiving.
yes, sir.
And go Niners.
Happy Thanksgiving. Go Raiders.
Raider. Hey, Bill, don't say that.
Ugh. Yes, no, say it because you said it last week and they lost. So keep going.
I know. That's why I don't want.